I love a good monster flick, and Love and Monsters did not disappoint. I thought this movie was awesome. Before we get started, if you could please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Now you better watch out because it's time to get this review started. Let's go. Love and Monsters is a 2020 post-apocalyptic action romance film and is directed by Michael Matthews. And this film is now available on video on demand. The stars of the film is Dylan O'Brien as Joel, Jessica Henry as Amy, Michael Rooker as Clyde, Ariana Greenblatt as Minnow, and the plot of this movie is in a monster-infested world, Joel learns his girlfriend is just 80 miles away. To make the dangerous journey, Joel discovers his inner hero to be with the girl of his dreams. So going into this movie, I didn't really know much about the movie. I did see a trailer a while back, and it was definitely something up my alley. I love monsters. I'm a huge Godzilla fan, so any monster movies I'm definitely always usually into. And I would say this movie was a lot of fun. I would put this in the same ballpark as, like, it reminds me of Zombieland or like the movie Warm Bodies. But yeah, like I said, this movie was a lot of fun, so let's get into what I like about it. So what did I like about this movie? I gotta get up to the monsters. That is gonna be my favorite part of this movie. So what happened is there's an asteroid that was going to hit Earth, and the humans had to send a missile to destroy the asteroid. But once they did that, the missiles, a lot of the chemicals got onto Earth, and it mutated the world. So a lot of the animals now have become mutated. And I think that's the fun part of this movie is there's so many different, different kinds of monsters, and all the monsters have these really cool designs. So it's really fun, just going through, watching these characters on their journey, running into all these different types of monsters, and each of the monsters, they have their own, things that you have to do to fight them. Like, you have to fight them all differently, and they have their own characteristics. So I think that part is really what sets this movie apart from other movies such as like Zombieland, where Zombieland, it's zombies that they're fighting, so it's kind of like the same thing, where Monsterland, it's a variety of different things that they're fighting. So I think it's a lot of fun, just discovering all the new monsters. And it just opens up to a world of possibilities. And we get all sorts of stuff from, there was toads, frogs, centipedes, ants, crabs. So just all these crazy looking, cool looking monsters that, these characters run into. And I think that was really fun for me to watch. Also, I did like the Dylan O'Brien as the main character Joel. I thought he was really likable, and I thought he was funny, and I loved his adventure that he went on. And when we first meet him, his character is not going to survive survive this world. Like, he's probably the most first likely to die, and you really see him face his fears and go on his journey to, go after the girl he likes. And along the way, he meets a dog, and I loved their little relationship between, Joel and this dog, and them just, battling the world together, I thought was really cool as well. And the dog was a super cute dog as well, and, if you're gonna go, have to travel all this way, you might have, the best friend you can as in this dog. And I just love that, they both saved each other. So they couldn't have made the trip without each other. So I thought that was really cool as well. Also, I just like the world that this movie creates. So this movie, you could definitely tell, could totally be a franchise just because there's so many different possibilities, and I feel like this movie just touches on a little bit of those possibilities. We get to see some monsters, but there's so much room to, I feel like, for more sequels, just to really go more into this world and just kind of discover, okay, these monsters are created. How do we stop them? Where do we go from here? There's just so many more questions I have after watching this, where this movie leaves me wanting more. And like I said, I love the world that this movie created, and I definitely want more. Now, as far as what I didn't like about this movie, one, I would say, and overall, I'll say I really enjoyed this movie, but there's a couple little things that were just kind of random. So, for example, one of the kind of random things that happens is, like, the dog's carrying around his shirt from his previous owner, and he's carrying this shirt around throughout the movie, and you're thinking, okay, maybe he'll run into the owner later on in the movie, or they'll bring it back up, like this will circle back around, and it doesn't, so it's just kind of randomly in there. Same thing with, there's these we run into a robot a couple times in the movie, And I'm thinking, okay, there's going to be a point of this robot. Like maybe, later on, the robot's going to save the day, or they're going to use this technology of the robot to save the day. And they don't. It was just kind of a random robot they ran into. So just a couple random things that didn't really add too much to the storyline that I thought were going to have a deeper meaning didn't. So just a couple random things. Also, I would say the villains at the end. So we get these villains at the end, but they also felt a little random just because they came into the story about 30 minutes before the movie ended. So they just kind of popped in there at the end, and we just didn't get a lot of time with them, so it didn't really give enough time to establish them as villains, and they were just kind of thrown in there very randomly. While I did enjoy, the last act and all of that, I just wish we would have got a little bit more time with them. Same thing with the characters of Minnow and Clyde. I gotta say, and this would go in positives, I love those characters, and I love those characters interacting with Joel, and you could definitely see, that that's going to be his gang. He found his people, pretty much. But one thing, I wish we would have just got more time with them. I really enjoyed all three of them together, and we just don't get a lot of time to spend with them. And I thought maybe, towards the end of the movie, somehow they would come back, or the characters would meet back up, and they don't. So it's just something more, I would have loved more time with them. But those are really my only negatives, and they're not really, they don't really take away from the story. Overall, I still really enjoyed this movie. This movie's really fun, and lots of cool fight sequences, and yeah, I had a good time. I feel like if you like monster flicks, or if you even like Zombieland, I do think you're going to like this. And, this is a perfect, streaming movie at home, especially during the Halloween time. If you like monster movies, I definitely recommend it. And if it's something, you want to wait, you can always wait till maybe the price of this movie goes down a little bit, and then rent it later. But I definitely recommend watching it at some point. Now, for anyone who's seen Love and Monsters, what did you think of it? Did you like this movie? Are you hoping, like me? I definitely feel like there is going to be more sequels after this, because it definitely sets it up for, a lot more. But what are your comments on this? Did you like this movie? Are you planning on seeing it? What are you hoping that we get more sequels in the future? Please leave your comments below, and I appreciate you so much for watching. Thank you.